This video will show you how to make one of these teeny tiny little fabric and felt mini books, which are great for storing needles in, so they make fantastic little needle cases. This is part of the Hugs in Stitches project, which is being run by Lynda over at Eeky Chic Design, so I'll link all her details below. This is the very first book that I made, and it was just my little prototype that I was slow stitching in the playroom when my daughter was doing her homework. So what we're going to do today is cut out some covers and also some inside pages. So the covers we're going to use some thinner fabric, and I'm using actually silk, but cotton or polycotton, things like that would do. Now you could cut two pieces, or like I've done here, cut one large piece that is large enough just to fold over, because what we're going to do is sew around three of the edges, and then we're going to fold it inside out and then sew the other edge up as well. Now, obviously I used my rotary cutter there. Clearly I need a new blade, and also trying to do this under the camera, I did make a bit of a hash of that. So the edges are not very neat because I've left them a little bit raw. However, it still works. Now, I do advise, if you're going to be using scrap fabric like I am, that you give it a bit of a press, because it does make life easier. It does definitely make sewing easier. Now, I was always very resistant to ironing in the past, but when it comes to sewing, actually, it's really a helpful tool. So just press your fabric and then fold it over if you're doing like I'm doing, and just press that edge, and it just holds it sort of in place so that you can sew around the edges nice and neatly. Now I'm taking this over to my sewing machine. So you can see there, that's the card that I cut out, and my measurements is 5.5 by 3.5, I think. So I go over to my sewing machine and I'm just sewing around two of the edges because I've folded it around. But if you're using two pieces, then you'll sew around three of the edges, and I'm going to turn it inside out, and I'll do that later. Now for the inside pages, they want to be slightly smaller. I'm cutting mine out of felt because I think this is probably going to be used as a little needle case for somebody. I'm going to cut it out of felt, and the inside pages, each page to fit in this particular book is 3 by 5 inches. Now again, my rotary cutter wasn't doing a very good job, so I had to neaten it up, and even though I cut these pages, I ended up having to cut some more because I have no idea what I did with the first two that I cut out.
Just a quick reminder from the bunnies, if you're enjoying the video so far, remember to give us a like. That thumbs up is really important. Thank you.
That's the cover and the outside pages done. Now what I'm going to do is pop some little embellishments on the front. I'm using little patches. Now we'll show you in another video how to make some little patches, but these ones I got off Amazon. But you could use other embellishments that you've got, like little felt die cut, or just do your own embroidery, because obviously Hugs in Stitches is about adding lots of stitches to your projects. So this is the cover, and I've turned it the right way round, and I've used the iron just to press it so that it's nice and neat. And I've turned it round. My corners weren't very good. Probably should have snipped that excess fabric from the corners, but I haven't. So what I'm going to do now is just add one of these little patches. Now these are available on Amazon. They're absolutely brilliant. They're cheap as chips, and they've actually got one of those sort of heat adhesives. So you activate it with heat. So when you iron it on, then it sticks to your fabric. Now I'm not going to just leave it like that. I am actually going to do a little bit of stitching around just to add a little bit of sparkle, really. I'm going to be using some sparkly thread, and I've obviously got to sew up that edge. So I'm going to use the sparkly thread there now, and I've also got to add those inner pages. So I'm just sewing up the side that was open, and I'm just doing a quick whip stitch down that side, and I'm using my sparkly thread. Now, when I've added this, I did think actually maybe I should go all the way around the book, and I might do that later because I really like the look of that little whip stitch. You could also use a blanket stitch, and I did use a blanket stitch just to add a little bit of detail around my little tree there. So that's the cover done. Now, with my other little red book, I did add a piece of fleece on the inside because I only used one piece of fabric for the cover on the other book. So you could sew a piece of fleece or felt or something on the inside as well. And that would make it really nice and puffy. What I wanted to go for was a really lovely tactile feel. But in this case, I'm just adding the two pages and sewing down the middle. So I just use a couple of pins to hold it in place, and then I remove those when I've done it. And now I've got this gorgeous little squishy book, and it works beautifully. And obviously you can use it to add little needles, but I'm going to be giving it away to somebody as part of the Hugs in Stitches project that Lynda is doing. I'll link all the details below and also put the playlist so that you can see that. I'm going to be showing you how to make little tiny bags in one of my next videos, and I'll see you soon. If you enjoyed this, do give me a thumbs up, and please remember to share it and tag hashtag Hugs in Stitches, and pop over to the Facebook group as well that Lynda is running. Take care, everyone. Bye.